All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are just hopping right into it tonight. Anthony and I have not spoken for a couple weeks, and we basically turned on the Zoom, hit record, because behind the curtain, we're getting old-fashioned tonight. We're going back to the glory days of Reliving the Lights, and we're going to go ahead and pull a double tonight.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind schedule. Life is beginning to return to normal, and some of those old obligations are coming back. So I think we mentioned a couple episodes ago that no more asking what Christmas movies you like on Easter.
Yeah, we might ask how your 4th of July was at the beginning of August is all. Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get back to that. But
yeah, we'll see how far ahead we can get. But yeah,
it's a new experience for us. But yeah, we're ready to get into it tonight because back in the early days of the pandemic, we could stay up till all hours, whatever. That was fine, no big deal. But that's not the case anymore. Like you said. We got actual like social commitments and stuff that we have to fulfill. So
I almost screwed up last night. My buddy Bert was like, "Hey, you want to grab a beer after work?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, totally." And it turned into like 3 or 4. And I was like, "Oh man, I got to watch at least one of these episodes tonight or I'm going to be really behind." So some of my notes from episode 304, this episode that we're about to talk about, maybe the notes may be a little mixed, and then by the time we record 305, the next episode, I might be in that mode again while my notes are actually written sober. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a dynamic that we have had a little break from recording singles, as we haven't had. We only drink for like 2.5 hours compared to 4.5, 5, 6 hours into the night. So. There was a stretch of season 2 where things got a little sloppy.
Yeah. A couple of those episodes, I did not. Were almost hard for me to listen back on.
Well, we traded back and forth, so it's all good. But I guess as things are starting to return to normal, what are some normal activities you've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, just I've had. So my buddy Bert, who I mentioned, he lives in Sioux Falls, and so I hadn't seen him in I don't know how long. So just like meeting up with him, having a couple beers. My old boss was in town for my restaurant days. He now works for like the South Dakota Economic Development or something, and so he and I went and grabbed a beer on Tuesday. So just
grabbing beers,
seeing people, being in person with people. It's
very nice. Yeah. We got out there just yesterday. We had been looking at a camper and we went and pulled the trigger on that. So, I mean, that's not really a getting back to normal thing because we did a little camping last year. That was a, reasonably safe activity, but that's exciting news in the Kuipers household.
Yeah.
So I actually watched, the kids wanted to play in the camper tonight. So I actually watched one of the episodes just sitting out in the new summer home out there in the driveway. Pretty nice. But yeah, so lots of good things going on. We're fully vaccinated.
Yes.
So it is nice. And
feeling good.
One of these days we'll actually sit down across the table from each other and talk about it. But honestly, I'm not going to complain about the convenience of holing up in my basement and talking Friday Night Lights.
I was just thinking, I kind of drafted a tweet in my head earlier today, just something I thinking about, because like, I mean, it's something that's driven me nuts for a long time, is like the people who you see like YouTube search any song from like 1995 or older, and you'll see people be like, "Oh, this is when music was good," or "Oh man, I was really just born in the wrong generation." Right. And I'm always like, F that, man. Like, I still have access to that music, and also I have like indoor plumbing and the internet. Like,
yeah, right.
I mean, obviously you had indoor plumbing in the 90s, but like, it's a relatively new invention.
Right. Yeah. We can appreciate the old and then also enjoy the convenience of being able to Zoom record. That's fine.
Exactly.
That's fine. So, well, It's episode 304. We're going to get into it pretty soon, but Anthony, you've been drinking a lot of beers lately, it sounds like. But what are you drinking tonight for the podcast?
Yeah, well, I've got just the old vodka water with some a shot of Mio in it. So just the old standby, trying to cut those carbs. I'm still ping ponging around the 230s. I think I was like 233 this morning. So just can't escape them.
Well, we're both right about there, but it was my birthday last weekend, so I went off my keto thing, and then I kind of decided, you know what? Let's just take a week off. Not that I'm like going crazy or anything, but having a carb now and again. But one of the benefits of that is I can drink a beer. So tonight I've got Goose Island Next Coast IPA. It's, as far as IPAs go, it's pretty nice. They're not trying too hard to pack as many hops in there as they can. So I do kind of like it, but that's what we're drinking. That's what we've been up to. I say we get into this episode 4 of season 3. All right. This episode is entitled Hello, Goodbye, which in 2008 was the name of a band that I listened to a lot. It was very like hipster pop.
Yeah, I did not
electronic
dig them.
elements in that.
What was their song?
I like how we are.
Yeah,
we drive in your car. That song, whatever that was. I recorded a cover of that, like an acoustic cover of that with Morgan DeYoung. It's actually one of the things that I've recorded that I actually kind of feel good about. It's pretty good.
I do. Now that you say that, I do kind of vaguely remember that.
Yeah. But yeah, Hello, Goodbye originally aired October 22 of 2008. Movie did 1. He got anything to say?
Oh, you know he does.
Good.
Coach Taylor asks himself whether he should shake things up when it comes to his quarterback controversy.
All right, I feel like I already know what he's going to do here.
While his wife asks whether she is able to shake things up because Buddy is schmoozing up to the school district superintendent. Matt gets shaken when his mother shows up in town, and Tyra shakes things up with Landry when an old friend of Billy's shows up in town and begins paying her attention. And finally, Smash feels a little bit shaken up as his tryout date comes closer.
I really thought he was going to do okay, but is this that's one sentence?
That's
a one sentence.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this, movie dude. 1.
Yeah, you really don't.
You don't have to make it as few sentences as possible.
You really don't.
Use as many periods as you want. Just make it make sense.
Yeah, make it yeah. I gotta say, he stayed focused. Yes. He didn't change metaphors in the middle of the middle of the synopsis. Despite it only being one sentence long, I gotta give this like a 6.5.
Yes. As I was listening to it and not looking at the punctuation, I was like, okay, all right, yes, we're headed in a good direction. And then things got a little runny-yawny as we went on. Which made me then look at the commas and see the vast number of them. But if you took out punctuation from the whole thing, it'd be pretty high. But overall, if you think it's a 6, usually I'm giving him a little more grace than you are. So I'm gonna go with it and say yes. Let's go with the 6.
Okay,
that works for me. I might have actually rated him lower this time, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. All right. This episode starts out. Everybody's at the rodeo. Yeehaw.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught this, but we hear I believe it's Slam and Sammy say that is the Clark County Rodeo.
Oh, see, I noted this. I wrote down Carr County because that's what the subtitle said. But I did not Google because I thought, hey, is this going to help us figure out where the heck this is? But I haven't Googled it yet. So
see, I did Google Clark County, and there's not a Clark County in Texas. There is indeed one in South Dakota.
Yes, there is.
But there is not a Clark County in Texas. But maybe it was Carr County. I didn't.
There is a Carr County. Carr County, Texas. I put into Google, and the people also ask section, the first question, actually all of the questions is, what town is Dillon, Texas based on? Is Dillon a real town in Texas? What town is Friday Night Lights in? Is TMU a real school? So that I'll pull up the map here, but Carr, Texas, zip code 77979. No, it can't be there. That's Carr, Texas is a town in Texas, and it is like on the east side between Houston and Corpus Christi, kind of over by the coast. So that
doesn't make any sense. No.
All right. That was a dead end. But they're at the Carr County Rodeo.
Yeah. The whole cast is there.
Yep. Sitting together.
Yep.
Because sometimes they're all best friends.
Yes.
Landry brings out some cotton candy. He's passing around some to Tyra and Lila, but he's not having any because he's stressed out because he's getting his wisdom teeth out the next day.
Yeah. We get a beer from Tim right off the bat at the rodeo. That. Yep.
Nice.
He's drinking a beer. This is a first example of my drunken notes that I made note that Tyra's hair is starting to get longer and she is looking good.
I did notice her hair. I guess I didn't think about the fact that it was longer, but yeah, it looked nice for sure.
Yeah. She's kind of making eyes at one of the rodeo participants who we'll meet shortly. Cash
Waller. Yep. That's about as cowboy of a name as you can get. So way to go, writers of Friday Night Lights. But yeah, he's riding the, what do you call that? Bronc riding. He's riding one of the Broncos. Does well and wins. And basically, Mindy and Tyra both are oogling. Is it ogling or oogling?
Ogling, I think. Listeners at home, just let us know if it's ogling or I'm pretty sure it's ogling.
I think it's spelled. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, they are very attracted to this cowboy, and apparently, I think we kind of learn right away, right here, that maybe not that he knows Billy.
I think it may have been mentioned.
Yeah. That was something that I did not remember from until this rewatch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Coach is training Smash for his walk-on tryout, and Smash is pretty worried about the whole thing, questioning a lot of questions about, so who exactly set this up and why did it get moved back a day? And he seems really skeptical about the whole thing.
Yeah, he's definitely concerned about the moving of the tryout dates.
Yeah. Coach tells him, listen, you got bigger things to worry about. You need to focus on performing. You need to not be so preoccupied with this stuff. So over at what I'm just going to assume is Seven Sisters Cantina. I think we just need to
I just put seven Senoritas Cantina.
Oh, Seven Senoritas, yes. Seven Senoritas Cantina. Tyra and Cash are flirting pretty hard.
Yeah.
There.
Tyra kind of plays down her relationship with Landry.
But not just kind of plays down. Right. He asks her, is that your boyfriend? She says, hell no. So she was very emphatic about it. The sexual tension is very high between the two.
Through the roof.
Yeah. The meter is pegged at this point. They go out on the dance floor and are really enjoying themselves out there. And it's at this point that we can be pretty confident that it's going down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matt is making some breakfast for Grandma.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of controversy because I remember what she wanted, but he's making her oatmeal, right?
Yeah. She's getting oatmeal. She wants milk toast. Is that a real thing that people eat?
No idea.
I just consider it like an adjective for like a tame, boring.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I have no idea. I imagine, that it's a real thing, but I don't know. It's probably not what it sounds like.
Well, we're going to find out.
I hope.
What is milk toast? The recipes that come up are milk in toast. And
Gross.
it is literally, it looks like a bowl of milk with toasted bread, pieces of toasted bread in it.
Grandma Saracen, what the hell? That's not food.
No. It looks like there's another version where it looks like maybe they thicken the milk somehow, like make it into almost like a cream, and then like pour that over top with like sugar and butter and cinnamon maybe. But anyway, gross. Eat your dang oatmeal.
Yeah.
Grandma, chill out. So she's not happy. In the process, she's watching TV and they're talking about JD McCoy. So she asked Matt about it. Matt kind of downplays it and says, it's a bye week. They're just trying to find something to talk about. But he obviously doesn't want Grandma to know that, his role on the football team is kind of in peril.
Yeah. Grandma throws out the oatmeal. Also,
she scrapes it into some sort of waste bin that's sitting right next to her chair or something. It looks like a pot. I don't know. Buddy, meanwhile, is out on the football field by the scoreboard. He has lined up a preliminary survey for the Jumbotron, kind of in preparation. It's not official yet, but he's having a preliminary survey done, and Tammy comes out there and kind of puts the kibosh to that and says, no. It's not over yet. And it comes out that Buddy's been kind of schmoozing with some guy from like the school board or something that has to approve it.
Yep.
So Tammy's not very happy with that situation.
Landry is coming out of wisdom teeth surgery.
Yep.
He's struggling through it. He's kind of got that like the classic David after dentist video situation. So I've only been under once.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I am, at least to my recollection, came to pretty quickly. Have you ever had an experience coming out of anesthesia?
No, I mean, not where I was like saying weird things or anything like that.
Right.
I remember the sensation of like waking up and then falling back asleep and waking up and falling back and kind of going in and out, in and out.
Oh, really?
But not that particular. Okay. But I've never had like dental. Well, I guess it was when I had my jaw wired shut, which technically was dental.
That is, that
was a little more intense than.
And I need to get my wisdom teeth out still. And the only time I've ever been under was when I had my sinus surgery. And the only thing I remember is when I woke up, the room that I woke up in was like this. All the walls were this like golden brown color.
Okay.
And I remember like kind of waking up and everything's kind of blurry. And my grandma, when I was growing up, in her like living and dining room, had these really golden brown curtains, like the same shade. And I remember thinking that I was at my grandma's house for like, like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then was like, oh no, I'm in the hospital.
Yeah, no, I do remember that I really wanted my glasses because I have very bad eyes. And so I do remember making a big deal to the nurses. Like, I need my glasses. But other than that, yeah. So Landry's pretty messed up on the drugs. He calls Tyra, or maybe Tyra calls him to check up on him. And
he calls her and he gets pretty romantic.
He's talking about how Lionel Richie was playing in the doctor's office. Lady by Lionel Richie. And he suggests that they get together and watch Repo Man and eat Cherry Garcia. And then he tells her that he loves her and she's the best girlfriend.
She's the best girlfriend.
She's not really, you're not really my girlfriend per se. And Landry's mom kind of mercifully
Ma Clark steps in.
She shuts that down and says, "You'll thank me later."
Mm-hmm.
We get a little scene at the coaches meeting. They're all stressed about the upcoming matchup, and the assistant coaches are all asking about JD. and coach doesn't know what he's going to do, but
he's unsure.
They are going to go with the spread though. So if you remember from last week, that was the big question of whether they're going to go with the spread, and is JD the right quarterback then if they do go with the spread. So they are going to implement that, but coach isn't for sure who's going to be playing the most snaps.
Matt's mom kind of shows up after practice and offers a ride. Matt accepts. He I'm just looking at my notes here. He doesn't offer much socially, is what I wrote down. That's a really weird way to phrase that.
It's accurate. But yeah.
She kind of helps or offers to help with the situation while she's in Dillon, and Matt accepts.
Yeah, he's pretty hesitant, but ultimately, I think ultimately he legitimately really needed the help. So he kind of begrudgingly almost or hesitantly says, yes, she can take grandma to the doctor tomorrow because he's got a big test or something he's got to study for. Meanwhile, as she's dropping him off, grandma is just glaring out the window. She's not a fan of Ma Saracen. All right. Cash is like hosting a crab boil or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was his house, but he was definitely the expert on eating crab.
He knows how to, there was like a crawfish boil.
Yeah.
And I didn't write a whole lot down here, just more of Tyra and Cash flirting.
Yeah.
Basically.
This is where we find out that he's like roughly the same age as Billy.
Mm-hmm.
They went to high school together. He speaks French. He lived in Louisiana, and he was a heck of an athlete in high school. So basically painting the picture that he's this dream guy, because apparently speaking French is very desirable.
That's as cultured as it gets. Yeah.
Ooh. You ever like been to a crawfish boil or anything like that before? You ever partaken in anything like that where they got the big pot and then they just kind of dump it out on the table and all that?
No.
Yeah, me either. It looks cool, but I'm allergic to shellfish, so I'll never really be able to partake.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time. So, like, I don't like a lot of like fish, and I do really like shrimp and like crab, and so like I like shellfish, I guess. But crawfish. Like every time I've ever had them, they're just a little bit too fishy.
Oh, really?
Like, I suppose it doesn't really work for me. So So no, I know that when I worked in Okoboji, there was like an option that you could like get a group together and do a crawfish boil. Like I remember seeing it on a wall, like advertised, but I'm for sure nobody ever did it. And while the whole summer I was there, at least days that I was working. So
yeah. I remember growing up at our babysitter's house, and then I don't know, just around town, there would always be like crawfish in the creeks and stuff in Platte.
Yep.
Did you grow up calling them crawdaddies too?
Yes. Yeah. Crawdads is what I would call them. Yeah.
Is that that must be a regional thing, or is that just?
I think that's a widely accepted. So I know for a fact that there was a like hit book, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, called "Where the Crawdads Sing." So it must be a widely enough used term.
Sure. Yeah.
I just know Angie read that book and that I've seen it.
Along those lines, what is there a proper term between creek and crick? And if they're both legitimate, is there a difference between a creek and a crick?
I think you're talking about different pronunciations for the same thing. I think crick is just like a colloquial term. I think creek is the proper pronunciation, but crick is that might be either regional or just it's not.
I think you are correct. However, in my mind, a crick is more of a muddy runoff that, just kind of slops through an area, whereas a creek is more of a like babbling brook type
legitimate
situation.
Stream.
Yeah, like a nice clear creek that you can go wade, dip your toes in, and on a hot summer's day,
Sure.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
So
like what's like the culverts that run through Platte, that's a crick.
Yes.
To you.
Exactly. Yep. Whereas if you go out to the Black Hills and do some hiking, you'll come across some nice creeks.
Okay.
That got some bridges going over. You're hiking on the Mickelson Trail for all you South Dakotans. Yeah. And you're just south of Keystone there. And you go over the little bridge and there's a nice creek running through. That's not a crick. That's a creek.
We've gotten to the point, I think, where you repeat a word so often that you start thinking about how weird words are. And I'm now to that point with creek.
Creek.
Like, yeah.
Creek. Yeah. Well, there you go. Crawdads, crawfish, crayfish, crawdaddies. It's all the same thing. Not that good to eat.
Yeah,
I think.
And honestly, more difficult than they're worth. I think. Like,
well, I can't imagine there's much meat. They're very tiny.
It's like just as much as, if not more, of a pain in the ass than eating crab legs, and like half as delicious. So,
sure. Yep. But this is one of the things about cash that Tyra finds attractive, which will continue. I think it spills into next episode, but anyway, Matt and Saracen are out at Landry's house for some reason. Must just be keeping him company after the surgery or something.
Matt and Smash.
Oh yeah, Matt and Saracen. I have in my notes Matt and Saracen, but yes, Matt and Smash. Because Smash, he's always hanging out at Landry's house. That makes a lot of sense. But they're doing some research on the web on the guy who got smashed the tryout, and they're not particularly thrilled with what they find.
Yeah. Landry, meanwhile, they're just like, Matt and Smash are like just using his computer.
Yeah.
And Landry is watching Deal or No Deal, which I have as my pop culture reference of the week. Outdated pop culture reference.
Yeah, there's been a couple.
He's expecting Tyra, so he kind of asks Matt and Smash to leave. Smash describes Landry's situation as sad and weird.
Yeah, Smash is like, didn't she dump you like a long time ago? And yeah, Saracen basically says, well, if she doesn't show up, call me. They're pretty confident it's not going to happen.
Smash also refers to Landry as Lando, which I got a little chuckle out of.
Those are two characters that are very different.
Yes.
Lando and Landry.
Yes.
Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Tyra is still kind of cozying up to Cash with Mindy and Billy present, and Cash is popping pills at this point.
Yeah, taking some cowboy candy.
Yes. Mindy and Billy are preoccupied with each other on the couch next to them.
Yeah, Cash asks Tyra to kind of go elsewhere because there's Billy and Mindy right there. Tyra notices Landry's texts and she's about to blow Cash off. And then he makes the move and she decides to stay.
Yeah. He pulls out the big guns, not the big gun, but he pulls out. I didn't mean to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he kisses her. That changes things. She's like, okay, yeah. I'm going to go with that as opposed to babysitting Landry. So that's going on. Next we see Tammy and Mom McCoy. They're out for a power walk.
Yeah.
Real mom style,
Big time. Yeah. And Tammy is just worked up, complaining about Buddy and the booster money. And Mrs. McCoy kind of gives a little bit of advice. I don't remember what that advice is. I did not write it down.
Yeah, she basically says, nobody likes an angry woman and you're way too angry right now. And so her suggestion was basically, because Buddy has got an in with playing golf with this guy, Tammy needs to basically like figure out where this guy's going to be, put herself there, make sure she wears her hair down, basically to stalk and seduce this guy is what Mom McCoy is suggesting.
It would work on me.
Hey.
Landry, meanwhile, confronts Tyra about not showing up for their date of Cherry Garcia and
Repo Man.
Yeah, Repo Man. And Tyra kind of comes up with an excuse. I don't remember what exactly her excuse was. Do you?
Like, it was a health issue with her aunt, but her aunt's going to be okay, basically. Yeah. But Landry's not buying it. He knows. You can see on his face.
You can tell something's up.
No, I don't believe that. Over at practice, football practice, it's basically Matt versus JD again to see who's going to play for next week's game. And Matt's kind of blowing it.
Yeah. He is definitely underperforming.
So it's not going well there. Then cut to Matt's house, and Grandma is pissed about having to be taken to the doctor by Ma Saracen. She's not a fan of. I legitimately I know Mom McCoy's name. It's Katie. I do not know Matt's mom's name. I have no idea. So she truly is Ma Saracen to be, and that's probably not even her last. It's definitely not her last name.
No, yeah,
but sorry.
Literally every time I have her written down in the notes, it's just Matt's mom.
Matt's mom, yeah. Matt is able to kind of convince Grandma, like, listen, I've got a lot going on. Things are really hard right now. Will you please just do this for me? So she kind of relents, but she's still not happy about it whatsoever. So Tammy and Coach are driving home. They're in the vehicle. Tammy's stressed about the scoreboard Jumbotron situation, and Coach is stressed. I'm assuming that he's coming. They're coming home from practice. He's coming from practice, so he's stressed about that situation. And Coach basically like pulls off the road suddenly. He's like, he says, "I need a drink." Tammy says, "Well, I got that bottle of wine at home." And Coach interrupts her, "I need a Scotch flavored drink."
Yes.
So he pulls over. They go to a bar and they talk it through there. And Coach really opens up about the Matt situation.
Yeah, he kind of laments his whole situation with JD and Matt. Tammy thinks his dilemma is pretty admirable that he cares as much as he does about this and isn't just trying to take an easy way out by just starting JD.
Yeah, and not only admirable, she finds it pretty sexy.
Yeah.
So they start making out in the bar a little bit. Coach is fine with that. He's going to have to ponder it over a little more if that's what she finds sexy. Then we see JD McCoy and his quarterback coach, who I believe's name is Wade or Wayne. I was trying to remember during the episode and I couldn't even understand them, but
Wade sounds correct.
Wade.
I want to say
JD and Wade are out practicing, and Coach kind of comes out there and starts talking to him, and then he kind of throws a pop quiz at JD, asks him a bunch of football stuff about coverages and audibles.
And a little bit about his personal life.
Yeah. What do you like to do when you're not on the field? And JD's answer was Madden. So playing Madden, swimming, and working out. Sounds like a real fun kid.
Yeah.
Actually sounds like a lot of high schoolers around here, so that's fine. So Coach is kind of doing a little research here, gathering some more information, trying to make his decision.
Tammy shows up. She knows that the large donor, Paul is going to be at the diner, so she shows up. She kind of slides in to his booth.
Oh, yeah, she does.
And tries to discuss a little bit of the allocation of funds, but he blows her off pretty quick.
Yeah, and he blows her off, and she just bombs it hard. he right away says, like, you don't need to get upset about it, which was Katie McCoy's whole thing of nobody likes an angry woman.
Yep.
And so she bombs that right away. And then, it just does not go well. She's not good at kind of the underhanded dealing thing. She's no Buddy Garrity, that's for sure. He basically ends the conversation. He's got to go to a meeting, but he ends the conversation with what I think is the extremely legitimate point that makes Tammy wrong about this whole thing. I love you, Tammy, but you're wrong. And he says, those people gave that money for a Jumbotron, which again, I just think that's the crux here. That you can't get past that, Tammy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some technical loophole or something that Tammy can reappropriate those funds, but you're never going to win the popular vote.
Exactly. Like, you're going to lose your job quicker than anything, probably. But over at a different diner.
Yes. What is this diner?
Landry and Matt are having a little chat and get interrupted by Julie. While Matt and Julie start talking, Landry notices Cash and Tyra walking by. So Landry confronts her about lying to him. They argue a little bit, and finally Tyra kind of spazzes out and is just like, yes, I'm choosing him.
Yeah. Landry basically says, like, if you're choosing this big dumb cowboy with the hat and all that, just tell me to my face, which I feel like is always just a recipe for someone to just say exactly what you don't want to hear. Like,
yep. Yeah.
Matt does that the next episode, I think, in 305.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're not playing JD, or if you're playing JD over me because he's better than me, just tell me. And he goes like, yeah, I'm trying to win games.
Yeah.
And Matt
I'm being frank. Yeah.
And okay, here's my outdated pop culture reference though. Did you catch this one in this conversation?
I don't know if I did.
So Landry is kind of arguing, saying like, yeah, you broke up with me, but what's changed? Like, you still hold my hand, you still do this stuff. And Tyra's like, I held your hand in Cloverfield because it was scary.
I did not catch that. No.
Yeah, it's a Cloverfield reference. Did Peter Berg have anything to do with Cloverfield? No.
I don't think so. No, that was a Michael Bay thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I don't know if the world is ready for a Peter Berg and Michael Bay collaboration.
Oh my gosh.
Or no, it wasn't even Michael Bay. It was J.J. Abrams.
Right.
So I don't even think Michael Bay was. Yeah. But I thought that because it premiered, the trailer for Cloverfield premiered before the first Transformers, which is a big deal.
Yep.
At the time.
God, Michael Bay and Peter Berg. That'd just be a big dick swinging affair.
Yeah. For real.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of want to see that movie, but I don't want to see that movie.
Yeah.
Matt's mom shows up to the house with groceries. Grandma is pissed again.
She's not happy.
Matt is definitely not ready to have his mom back in his life, and he asks her to go home.
Yeah, she brought like baby pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't just show up here with groceries and baby pictures and act like it's normal. I think, was this where Julie was also there? Yes. Man, what's up with me and calling other people either Matt or Saracen? Because I have Matt, Saracen, and Grandma are hanging out. It should be Matt, Julie, and Grandma hanging out. Yep. He's not having it either. Grandma just went to her room pissed.
Yeah.
I'll be in my room if you need me. She's an angry woman, an angry, bitter woman.
Nobody likes an angry woman. Somebody needs to,
yeah, she needs to talk to Katie McCoy.
Exactly.
We see Tammy sitting in bed, looking very defeated. She processes with Coach the fact that it was a stupid fight that she never should have picked, which I think we agree. But Coach assures her, no, you're right. They're wrong. And it was the right thing to do.
Yep.
And Tammy says, well, I'm going to lose tomorrow either way. And Tammy said, but you did the right thing. Or
you stood up for what you believed in.
Coach said, you did the right thing. You stood up for what you believed in. So in that sense, you win. And maybe you can make him feel guilty about the stupid Jumbotron. So Another nice Coach and Tammy moment.
Just a short moment between Matt and Grandma,
Yep.
where Matt apologizes that his mom is back in Dillon and trying to get back into their lives.
Yep. Grandma kind of opens the door a little bit to Ma Saracen by saying, like, we both know that your dad is a difficult man. And yeah, so, you know, can kind of understand why Matt's mom left to a certain extent. So opens the door a crack to that situation. And also says, you know, maybe I could have helped her out when it was all going down. So a little glimmer of kindness from Grandma Saracen's heart, which up until this point we just assumed was solely reserved for Coach Taylor and Matt Saracen. That's it.
Exclusively. Yeah. Maybe a touch of Tyra.
She does like Tyra because she brings the booze.
Yeah.
That's right. Coach is driving Smash to the tryout, and Smash is still really worried about this Mitch guy being just a front office guy because they found out he was like the director of group sales or something, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of clear, that A, he's worried, and B, his mind's probably in the wrong place for to be doing a walk-on tryout.
Yes. Matt meets up with his mom.
This is the diner that we've never seen before. I was thinking that's where Matt and Landry were, but this is like some random diner that presumably in Dillon, but we've never seen it before.
Yeah. So Matt meets up with his mom. They kind of discuss why she left, why she's back. That she kind of mentions that she felt bad. She wanted to be around for Matt. And once again, Matt's a real flip-flopper. He's now accepting her help again.
Yep. So I did the math on this. She explains that she was 17 when she had Matt, and we got to assume that Matt is 17 or 18 at this point, which means that she would be like exactly our age now.
Correct. That's true. So I didn't think about that.
I was just thinking like, man, could you imagine one of us having a 17-year-old kid, like a senior in high school?
Dude. I swear that I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before, and I've for sure mentioned it to you, but I'm the first person in like 3 generations of my bloodline to not have a child at 22. My great grandma had my grandpa at 22. He had my mom at 22. My mom had me at 22.
Oh, really? And
like every year that goes by, like this year, for example, I'm like, holy shit, thank God I don't have an 11-year-old right now.
No doubt. Yeah. Man, were you worried when you were that whole year you were 22? Like, oh geez, I got to be careful here.
Not only was I worried the year that I was 22, I was like really worried when I was like 19, 20, and 21, just being like, because I felt obligated to like keep it going.
Sure. Yikes.
But
so you had to get your crap together.
Luckily for 19 through 22-year-old Anthony, wasn't a lot happening at that time to cause a child. So
you were pretty safe there for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah. No, a 17-year-old kid. I feel like I'm too young to have a 5-year-old kid. So
yeah, I can't imagine having like a teenage child right now. That's absolutely insane to me.
So Ma Saracen is about 34, 35 years old. So we don't know her name, but we know how old she is.
Yeah. So meanwhile, at Texas A&M,
is that where they're
Smash? Yeah, Smash is at his tryout. He is nervous, standing on the sidelines, and gets told that they'll need to reschedule the date of his tryout one more time to next weekend.
Yeah.
Coach steps out onto the field, puts the A&M coach on blast, gives a great inspirational speech.
Yeah. He's going to be pushing the inspo rating this week for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And Smash ends up kicking ass at the tryouts.
Yeah. The college coach, after kind of as the tryouts wrapping up, asked Coach Taylor, which knee did he bust up? I couldn't tell. And Coach Taylor just says, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. He basically tells Coach, like, well, don't go breaking out the bubbly yet. But we'll call you. So, but it seems like it went well. Matt and JD are waiting to hear the decision from the coaches on the quarterback decision. And they call them into, Coach Taylor calls them into the office, says they're going to switch and rotate series throughout the game. They're both going to play equal time. Matt's going to start, but every other series they're going to switch. When Matt is out there, they're going to run the eye. When JD is playing, they'll run the spread. But the way I understood what he said was they got to keep it a secret, even from the team.
Yeah,
because they don't want it to get out that's what they're going to do, because it's the element of surprise or whatever to confuse them and whatnot. So they have to keep it secret throughout the week. And I think this is a bye week, right?
Yes. Yep. This is the bye week. So Tammy steps in at the big announcement for the Jumbotron.
Yep.
And kind of acts excited, and then kind of sneaks in a little making Buddy obligated to host a PTA meeting at the dealership at Garrity Motors.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice move. She kind of put the jab in there of and we even noted it when Buddy said it the first time, but I got 2 words for you, Jumbotron. Now I know that's one word, but I wanted to
quote Buddy.
Quote Buddy, yeah. And yeah, she volunteers him for the silent auction, which is going to be, I assume, a fundraiser for the school and all the things that Tammy wants to raise money for. So nice little juke and jive there from Tammy to stick it to Buddy a little bit. Very nice. Smash gets a call at home. We don't know exactly what's being said, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, you can only hear Buddies. You can only hear Smash's. That's as bad as Matt and Saracen.
Yeah,
calling Smash Buddy. Yeah, you can only hear Smash's side of the call, but you can tell it's optimistic. Gets off the phone. Mama Smash, that was the call you get in, and Smash kind of, I don't remember what he says.
I got my new shoulder pads are done.
Yeah.
Mom Smash is like, oh, you know what I thought that was. And then Smash is like, I gotcha. I'm going to college, mama. And big emotional moment. Gotta admit, the tears were welling in my eyes. Mm-hmm. He goes over to Coach's house, tells him the good news that he got in. He's starting practice the next day. Which I was like, did they really do that?
Very
they just
fast.
sign people to go to college, like
right. One and it's weird. Yeah,
start
right.
Classes mid-season.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe they can. I wonder if they can have him say okay, you're starting school in the spring semester, but since you're on the team, you're starting practicing now.
Yeah,
you can only practice with us. You can't play.
Yeah, that's probably it.
But I gotta imagine it's something like that, because that's super, super fast.
Yeah, weird. I don't really know how many weeks into the season we would be at this point. It's episode 4. So the high school season.
They're 3-1
every week. Are they?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking maybe he can get in.
You know what?
At
No, maybe they're 2-1 at this point. Because in the next episode, Matt mentions that he led them to 3-1, and that's spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking maybe he could sign up for a bunch of second half of the semester classes or something, but I don't know. Anyway.
I can't imagine that would work, but I don't know.
Who knows? It's Texas football, and
right.
Even in college, they probably have their ways. That every team's got a buddy that can make things happen. So
this is true. True. But Smash and Tim and Matt and Landry all then go to the football field and practice with beers.
Yep. They're doing the thing that
Yeah.
that they do at the big moments of the show. Drink some beers, toss the football around. Texas forever. They didn't actually say it this time, but it's, that kind
Implied.
of scene. Yep. And that's the end of the episode. So we end on a very, very high note there.
Yeah.
Smash has done it. He made it to college. Tammy navigated the Jumbotron situation, presumably with her job intact, and sticking it to Buddy at the same time. Matt's mom is kind of back in the picture, which I think is a positive thing. However, he still has his quarterback job at this point. So yeah, lots of good stuff going on. That's where we end the episode. Go out on a high note, and I think that's it. So we'll come back. We'll maintain those good vibes, and we'll talk about the Coach Taylor inspo rating.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're back. We're going to give out some awards. We're riding high off the end of the episode here, and I think we're going to keep those good vibes going with the Coach Taylor inspo rating.
Yeah. I got to say, I don't know. Have we hit a 10 with the inspo rating before?
I think so.
Okay. I don't think this is a 10, but I think this is it's definitely it's more of a peak than a valley. Like, I got to give just that closing speech alone, in addition with him being so supportive of Tammy for standing up for what she believes in, even though she knows that she was fighting a losing battle. Mm-hmm. I got to say this is an 8 at least.
I like the 8 call. I almost think you also have to take a cumulative view on this too, for kind of all of the investment that he has put into Smash and how, he's gone out of his way. And that's what Tammy talked about at the bar. Like when she said, I know you're going to think this is corny, but you're a molder of men. And he really took that role with Smash and invested a lot in him that he didn't have to. And we see it all kind of come to fruition here. Mm-hmm. So I would go ahead if we're talking just this episode, I think 8 is appropriate, but I think if you take in the whole journey that he's been on with Smash, let's go ahead and bump that up to a 9.
Yeah, I'm right with that.
This is a very feel good moment. I mean, like I said, I had tears welling. They did not roll, but they definitely welled. So maybe if they had rolled, we'd give it a 10, but
yeah.
Okay. Way to go, Coach. Coach's daughter, Julie, she did not have much going on in this episode. No. She kind of interrupted Matt and Landry, and that was about it.
That was it. Yeah. So I guess just a flat 0.
Yeah. That's fair.
Participation ribbon.
Yep. Big Rig beer tally. Apparently we had 1.
2. Yep. 1 at the rodeo. At least 1 on the field at the end.
Oh, right.
With the boys. And I was thinking about that, Smash has practice tomorrow. He's probably not drinking.
No.
Landry does not strike me as somebody who would drink.
He does not. Saracen.
Maybe Saracen would have 1 or 2, but there was several empty bottles sitting there. So for sure,
a whole 12er.
Yeah, I just counted it as 1 beer for that scene, but I think there's definitely implied several,
8, probably. Okay, we'll go with an official 2, but an implied 8-ish. The Alamo Freeze presents the Matt Saracen Aw Shucks Goofus Maloofus moment of the week. I mean, there's a lot of Matt.
There's a lot of Matt, but not a lot of Matt being a Goofus Maloofus. I would say at best, maybe him arguing with grandma about what to make for breakfast.
It's kind of what I was thinking, the milk toast conversation. But yeah, most of Matt's Goofus Maloofus moments come with Julie, and they just didn't have a ton of that going on. So,
no.
Or I guess girls in general. Buddy Garrity sleazeball move of the week. We had him doing a preliminary survey, which is kind of a sleazeball, but for Buddy Garrity, that's pretty mild.
Right. The only thing that I could come up with is him kind of balking at holding the PTA meeting at
Yeah.
the dealership. That's more of like a Tammy Taylor sleazeball moment of the week.
But yeah, he was like kind of balking at that. But the dude throws a party for the Panthers like every week after the game. It seems like he can host events. So all right, buddy. Yeah, not too sleazy this week, but notable music cues. Do you have anything on this one?
I did not have anything written down.
Yeah, I didn't.
Let's see what the IMDb has to say.
Okay.
Wow, there's literally nothing listed aside from the Friday Night Lights theme and Your Hand in Mine, which is on every episode.
On everyone, yeah.
Huh. That's crazy.
Yeah. Not a ton of music. Usually I'll just write music cue, assuming that you will grab it, but I did not even write that in my notes.
Ooh. This is so the two trivias on the IMDb page. One is a spoiler. One of them is that Adrian Palicki is actually 2 years older than Zach Rohring, who plays Cash.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be like 5-6 years at least older than her, I think. I feel like. All right, so no notable music cues. We had a couple outdated pop culture references of the week. Mine was Cloverfield. Yours was Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, I think Cloverfield is a deeper cut.
Yeah. It was very specific to that year, whereas Deal or No Deal is, I mean, still, maybe that show's still around, but
yeah, it might be in some iteration.
Never really end.
Yeah.
They just get different hosts and throw extra bonuses into.
Exactly.
So
they still have Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Like that's still on, hosted by some lady. I still occasionally see.
Oh, really?
Ads for it. Yeah.
I would just assume that like Wayne Brady was hosting that now or something. Like Wayne Brady
logical
hosts everything
conclusion.
at some point.
They have now, and I'm actually really obsessed with it. Because you can watch it on Hulu, is they brought back The Weakest Link. And they have Jane Lynch hosting, who is a little bit, she's too, no, it's not even that, like, it's just having seen as much Jane Lynch stuff as I've seen, if her hosting that show in which the point is that the host is a
jerk. Yeah.
I know that she's not that much of an asshole. And so like knowing who knowing as much about her as I do, it takes away some of the luster of it, because it's like, okay, you're playing a character.
Right. Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. And yeah, I have seen her a few times and she does go pretty hard. Yeah.
It feels a little forced, but I love The Weakest Link. I love that format. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. It is.
So I'm a sucker for it. Whenever new ones come up on Hulu, I always make sure to watch them, because I love a good trivia.
You know? Absolutely. It is my favorite kind. Have you been sticking with Jeopardy with all the guest hosts and all that? No, you're not.
I watched maybe a couple episodes of Ken Jennings. And I mean, it happened, like, of course, like the last episodes of Trebek aired like in the last month that we lived in Brookings. And so I kind of was in a routine in Brookings where like I'd get off at 5 and on KDLT there would be Jeopardy.
Yep.
And now, like, I mean, I still get off at 5 and Jeopardy still probably comes on at 5, but I just, it feels like less incentive. I mean, it's still trivia, and which I love, but it's just, I don't know. I'll wait till they find a permanent host.
Right.
Before I stick with any of it. I've caught an episode here and there, but nothing.
Did you see any Aaron Rodgers? I just couldn't picture that in my mind.
No, I didn't, but I did see that he like basically was like, this is what I actually want to do full time.
Really?
Like he came out and was like, I can make this work with their shooting schedule and still play football for the rest of like until I retire, and then just keep doing it. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to put my hat in the ring for this. Which is insane. But you know what? If I was like freakishly athletic and I was still me, people would probably be like, Anthony Hookman hosting Jeopardy, but I would deep down be like, that's what I want to. I want to host Jeopardy. So
fair enough. Yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers seems to be pretty discontent with life right now, because I don't know if you saw what he wants out of Green Bay and stuff. Yeah. So maybe he's just looking for a change.
Aaron, if you're listening to this, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a great quarterback situation going on right now. I know you don't got a lot of years left in you, but I think you probably have more good years left than Ben Roethlisberger. So
yeah,
think about it.
There you go. All right. Our quote of the episode. Let's move on to that. Let's see. I've got 1, 2. Nope. I have one written down. That was Coach pulling off to the side of the road saying, I need a drink. I need a Scotch flavored drink.
That was definitely one that stood out to me as well. I did not write any quotes down. That's one that I could have repeated word for word back to you.
Yes.
So it's probably stood out to me the most. I wish we had the entire full quote of his speech to the Texas A&M coach, but
yeah,
because that would stand out to me too. But as far as like in terms of being a quotable line, I think the Scotch flavored drink thing is.
Yep. It's pretty clear. Pretty clear winner on this one. Our MVP of the episode. Do we give it to Coach or do we give it to Smash?
I think let's give it to Smash.
Knowing what we know about the future, let's give it to Smash.
Yep.
Yeah, we like the trajectory that he's on. It's all coming to fruition. So, congratulations, Brian Smash Williams. You are this week's MVP of the episode. All right, episode rating. This is a good one.
This is a really good one. I gotta say a strong 7 to a light 8.
Let's go 8
for sure.
Yeah, I liked the Taylor family storyline and how they navigated through their situations. I like the Smash storyline. Makes me feel good inside. Nice and warm and fuzzy. I like that the Jumbotron storyline is resolved because I feel like that it was time for that to be resolved. If you would have kept dragging that out, that would have got old. What else we have going on? We introduced Cash, which I don't like Cash, but kind of gives Tyra something
to do.
Yeah.
Get an excuse, more of an excuse to be away from Landry to build that relationship isn't the right word, but their whole,
their whole thing.
More of a reason for her to pull away.
Yep. That's true. That makes sense. Cause either you got to really commit to that weird thing or you got to move away from it somehow. So, all right. So we said an 8. Is that what we said? Yep. I like it. 8. Okay. That's it. If we were going to take away a lesson, a moral from this episode, what did we learn?
No one likes an angry woman. I think maybe is the lesson to take away from this
woman. That's a front runner. I'm just like fast scrolling through my notes here. Milk toast sounds absolutely freaking disgusting, and
yes,
don't ever try to eat that in my presence.
Don't do it. Yeah, just even thinking about it has made me like upset and don't have an appetite.
Yeah. Give your mom your cell phone if you're gonna be on anesthesia drugs.
Yes.
Although that didn't turn out so bad for him in that moment, but I mean, the lesson of the episode could be how to eat a crawdad.
That could,
that's practical life lesson there.
Here's the lesson. If you spend some time in Louisiana and you speak some French, there's probably a beautiful woman out there that you can woo, or at least convince that you're not a complete piece of crap, even though you are.
Yeah. You can parlay that into
not a good lesson, not a positive lesson. Honestly, a lesson that I wish less people would learn. Fewer people would learn.
That's probably true. Yeah.
But
if a girl holds your hand during Cloverfield, don't read too much into that. It's a scary movie. I think the neat and tidy lesson though is nobody likes an angry woman. I don't know if that's actually true or if that's a little bit misogynistic, and but
it definitely is misogynistic. But
also, should we take life lessons from the McCoy family in general? They seem generally sleazy. He is the stud of suds, so he's he's successful, but I don't trust his means and methods of getting there. So
no, same.
All right. Well, we gave you a bunch to choose from there. So take what you will.
Let the audience decide what was the lesson.
Throw it all against the fridge, see what sticks.
Tweet at us at Reliving Lights what you thought the lesson was of this episode.
What you learned. Perfect. All right, Anthony. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
We're rolling now. Season 3. These are all short seasons now, right? So
yep,
we're like
13 episode seasons. I think we are more than halfway through the show actually at this point because of how long the first 2 seasons are. So
yep, right on. Well, shout out to our listeners in the West Indies. I just checked their stats today. They're staying faithful.
Yes, thank you.
Think maybe the one guy or gal in Jamaica is hanging in with us. So
thank you.
Reach out to us on Twitter. Please.
Yeah, please. Please, if you have any sort of social media, reach out to us either on the Facebook page that's not as active or the Twitter page. But yes, if you are one or more of our listeners in the West Indies, please reach out to us and let us know. We want to hear from you.
Thanks to all of you who have reached out on Twitter. That's always fun for us to see that
we appreciate it.
People are listening.
We've gotten some real shout outs actually recently.
Oh, nice.
And I sent you a screenshot of one of them. We've gotten some real shout outs lately from Garrett Scott. Garrett, thank you.
What's up, man?
We appreciate the a few direct messages and tagging Friday Night Lights and us in the same tweet, so they know you putting us on their radar. So we appreciate it.
I really like that. I believe some good insights from Garrett.
And a little 5 days ago, he said to us, season 3, episode 8, Tim Riggins' inspo meter is going to be off the charts. So we're looking forward to season 3, episode 8.
Nice. That is exciting. Good deal. All right, folks. Reach out to us. Reliving Lights on Twitter is the best way to get a hold of us. But regardless, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We're having fun. Hope you are too. We will see you next week for episode 5.
Yep, of season 3.
Let's touch God this time, boys. Let's touch God.